Most manufacturers have their own specific maintenance tracking program, so the owner can literally run a report of what maintenance is required. It is a consideration when a client is considering a turboprop versus a jet, because that king air shy of the, maybe calendar item, hitting in the middle of the year, most of the time you're going to kind of go, annual to annual, year to year with your maintenance visits. You're going to have some small things that come up, but for the most time, your major inspections are going to fall once a year. You can schedule it and choose a month that's not disruptive to your schedule. In a jet, there's going to be something that's done every few months. You're going to have a maintenance visit, some kind of inspection on a regular basis, depending on the aircraft, so it does get more complex.
And your local mechanic at the hangar literally may take care of these little things along the way. Right. Some people do them a little bit early, if able, to be able to open up a window to fly it for several months. Exactly. Something you had mentioned about maintenance that popped in my mind, that let's go back to pre-buys and what you're doing, and you can address this. You're looking at the logs, you're looking at everything that's coming up, you're going through an inspection. The value of advising the customer, okay, we're bringing you current on this aircraft. The consultation of, here's what the next 12 months, 18 months looks like. You're buying this plane here, you've got a situation coming up out here. Right. I mean, I don't mean situation in a bad way. You have an event coming up. Right. That event could mean $2 million back there if you're not on a program for a set of motors or engines, or the biggies on gear, prop, whatever it is for the type of plane. That process, how are you handling that I'm guessing it has a lot to do with purchase of that aircraft, what they really want, and understanding that 18 months from now or so, you've got another X number of dollars coming down the pike. That's not your normal oil change.
Yeah, I had a guy call me a couple of months ago, and he was looking at a Phenom 300. His boss wanted to buy a 300. And he said, I know you guys are a service center for the Phenoms. What's something I need to consider? And I said, 10-year items.
Yeah. Is it 9.5 years old? That's the question.
Yeah, the 10-year items on a Phenom that's the scary part. And so he said, really, I didn't know that. I said, make sure you're either a long way from the 10-year item or on the other side of it, because that's the one, and that's a lot, and that drives a lot of guys wanting to sell that model aircraft, because they know they're approaching the 10-year. So there's events that happen in the aircraft's life that maybe drive the acquisition process.
It's interesting you mentioned that particular aircraft, because there's a perception, and you can see it when they're coming up for sale, that they go up for sale at 9.5 years or whatever it is. The perception is, I'm going to go through this event and it's going to hurt. It's a really well-designed aircraft, and those events they don't really find much, but you got to go through it. There is a cost to go through that with the gear and with the actual inspection itself, but it's not really uncovering things that are causing big problems. It's just the perception of, oh, I'm selling the plane at this point. It's like selling the airplane when it's 50 hours away from engines. Yeah. Well, at least in the Phenom's case, it's a clean process to go through.
Yeah, we like to speak in general terms, but the truth is every airframe has its own idiosyncrasies that have to be addressed, and the value of having a rep that does this on a daily basis is invaluable, because you can help avoid some of the pitfalls and navigate the minefield a little bit.
And I know with King Airs, you've been through this 100 times. You've got a King Air that's coming up it's within 100 hours of engines on the second time it's going through overhaul. Take that scenario. You have a jet that's coming up, a jet that's not on program. It's coming up within a couple 100 hours. You may have a King Air guy that this is not a concern. I'm looking for that aircraft because I'm going to take those engines off, put a set of Blackhawks on it, go faster, and do everything I want. On a jet, that's a different discussion. Because, for example, an Excel not on program, you might be staring at $2 million.
Exactly.
If you're on program, well, the price of the plane is going to go up because somebody's already paid for that value for you of just doing the deed. There's no option to change them to, hot rod the engines like on a King Air. But that conversation has to come in. What do you want to do with this plane? How fast do you want to go? And now you're going to go searching for, let me go find you the good donor at this point.
Exactly. And that is, you mentioned engine programs and what that does to the value of the airplane. And that's an area where we see a lot of misunderstanding, because I think that a lot of buyers or potential buyers of jet aircraft view the engine program like it's a savings account to pay for the overhauls.
Yeah, you're either on one or you're not. Oh no, there's 12 different things that are in there.
Yeah, so and there are factory engine programs, there are other engine programs, so that's a whole category into itself of things that we have to explore when we're looking at those options. one that I'll give the viewers out there. If most airplanes in the fleet are on an engine program, you should be also. You know, the people that buy these airplanes are really intelligent. They make good decisions. And if 90% of the people that bought a Citation XL have it on a program, then you shouldn't buy the one that's not on a program. Right. There's a reason that
Follow
everybody
the herd.
Follow the herd in this one. Yeah,
Or you're going to
always get advice, but
or you're going to pay to put it on.
Yeah,
one.
in this scenario, follow the herd. So when you're looking at that, the education that's required there is that this isn't just a savings account for overhaul. It's also insurance. If something catastrophic happens to that motor, it's on the program holder to fix it. Depending on the program that you're on and what type of airplane we're looking at, it may be close to a power by the hour situation. In other words, every hour you fly, you're writing them a check, and then those are their engines. They take care of whatever happens. And the engines on any aircraft, that's the money. Right. That's the value of the aircraft, and that's where you're going to spend the most money. There's no other problem that a Citation can encounter that costs $2 million to remedy. So the engines are where the money's at. So I'm glad you brought that up, and that's something that's...
It's a dragster. All the money's tied up in that thing here or up there. Everything else,
exactly.
Take care of that.
And so the other thing that we see a lot of is people that aren't savvy buyers don't understand the value equation of the engines. Kingers are a wonderful example. Kingers are so predictable from a maintenance standpoint, so predictable from a cost standpoint. Easy for me to determine the value of because of my knowledge, very difficult for the average King Air buyer to understand the value because it is the most modified, complicated airplane in human history. No other aircraft has the number of options that a King Air has from the factory or aftermarket. So all those things drive the value, but the number one driver of value is the engine overhauls. And if you're a guy that doesn't understand that, and you buy an airplane with 3,400 hours on the engines, and you don't realize you're going to spend $1 million and a couple hundred hours, it's a problem.
Unless you had it in your mind, you're going to put new engines and go faster.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, you've got that. Well, that goes back to the discussion of everything's good now, but here's what the next day. You plan on flying 200 hours a year. 6 months from now, you got a situation.
Yeah. What does this look like in 5 years?
What does it look like?
Yeah, there's a few showstoppers out there that you have to address. It's kind of the elephant in the room, and if you don't do that, then it's a tough discussion at that time of the event because it's very costly.
Oh, and that's all of our job. We want to keep our customers, clients, friends from getting clipped in the rear, because we're living together with these customers. I mean, it's all part of the family. And if you're not telling them up front, and it may turn into, that's not the plane for me. Yeah. And you walk. Better to walk away from that situation than get yourself into an ugly one 6 months from now. Yeah. So.
One of my clients said the best thing Chip did was tell me no several times. No, you're not buying this airplane.